Hi, my name is William Lamb. I'm a research scientist with Santen Pharmaceutical, currently based at UCL Institute of Ophthalmology. Recently completed my PhD in retinal stem cell biology, also here at the Institute and supported by Santen. Before that, I studied a Master's in Human Genetic Disease at UCL, and I worked on projects involved in identifying loss of function genetic variants in patients with rare inherited diseases. So my PhD project was based upon identifying neuroprotective signals produced by Muller glia stem cells. I was based out of Professor Astrid Lim's lab at UCL, and her group had discovered that these Muller glia stem cells were capable of promoting survival of neurons and protection of visual function in models of experimental glaucoma. Although the source of that effect had not been clarified, which was where my project came in. And I was looking actually at these extracellular vesicles, tiny membrane-bound sacs essentially, which were produced by these cells and then released into the external environment. And our hypothesis, I suppose, and what we're working on now is these vesicles could play a role in a novel therapeutic tool for retinal neurodegenerative conditions like glaucoma. So I think my interest in research has always been focused particularly on projects that have this direct translational application to the clinic. My motivation, I think, as a researcher comes from the idea that something I do might contribute in some way to the development of a new treatment or medicine or diagnostic test even. With that in mind, I guess being fortunate enough to be sponsored by Santen during my PhD work felt like a really great opportunity to get first-hand experience of a pharmaceutical industry. I like to think that I do have perhaps a better understanding of some of the more commercial, pragmatic aspects of our research with regard to sort of growing and developing a project with a specifically clinical focus. So the pandemic was obviously extremely challenging time across all of academia and science as a whole. So we had our COVID-enforced lockdown, and we're still dealing with issues around the interruption to supply chains, huge delays getting certain reagents and chemicals, etc. But I was quite fortunate actually in that as I was approaching the end of my doctorate when lockdown started, I was able to spend a long time sort of at home writing and finishing that without too much interruption, although obviously it was a very surreal experience. So in 5 years' time, well, as I mentioned, I'm currently working for Santen in their brand new UK Research Hub, which is a collaboration with UCL and Moorfields. And within that project, we have short and long-term goals that relate to the ideas that I was investigating for my PhD. So in 5 years' time, I'd like to think that we'd have brought some of those through to fruition, and that the hub itself will be thriving and expanding, and really a really fruitful collaboration. I think I currently obviously still have that foot in academia, being based out of UCL, but my ambition for 5 years' time is probably to move more completely into industry. And I think obviously the biotechnology-based therapeutics field, things like cell and gene therapies, are attracting huge interest at the moment. That's very, very exciting. And I'd like to think that in 5 years' time I'd be able to be playing a small part in the realization of some of these new treatment strategies.